next 3 days, because it's going to really help me tailor what I was going to share, which is going to go into what I recommend you do for your own business and your own offers. And the way that I recommend you sort of approach this next 3 days with me. I don't know where to look. There's like so many cameras. The next 3 days, you want to approach it as an experiment and as a full immersive experiment, pretty much. Like, come in, experiencing the energy, experiencing the three different energies I'm going to channel for you. And I'm going to talk about things that are really going to solidify your idea of what it takes to have a successful business as a hypnotherapist, as a healer, as a mentor, as a coach. And it's going to really land if you're not overly trying to take notes and you're not overly trying to understand it in your mind, but you're really seeking to understand it in your heart and in the space beyond the chatter in your mind. Okay? So the best ideas, the best clarity is going to come from beyond all of the thinking and the thinking and the thinking and the thinking, you know? It's going to come from this stillness in your heart, and it's going to come from this bigger, infinite self. That's where all of the inspiration, the ideas, the confidence, it's going to come from beyond whatever is the little you. You know, there's like little me who's scared and full of shame and guilt and only sees like so much that she could get to, right? Like, through our sort of smaller 3D self, we have so many memories of things not going our way. There's so much evidence, right? But when we get into this tallness, this connecting to the light, we get more infinite, we get more vertical, we start to tap into our higher minds. That's one thing. And the other one is also getting out of the head into the heart. Super intuitive. It's a really intuitive place to do everything from. So you don't have to take notes. And there will be days where I'm going to share more like practical business advice and tips that I've seen work over the years. And you can always watch the replay and then, you know, take all the notes you want. But for this, because we're live, just try to be fully present. Okay, so Deborah wants to overcome blocks to putting myself out there and opening myself energetically to receive abundance. Okay. I love your question. I can tell you've been in my world for a while. Okay, and Amy, let me know if there's anything that's come to mind and if you have posted in the Facebook group. I'm not seeing it just yet. Okay. All right, my loves. Okay, so I know a lot of people said they could only watch the replay, so I'm going to address my replay sisters as well. And so in the next 3 days, like in the next live, you know, these live calls, you'll find out exactly how to like really head in the right direction. I think one of the things that's most painful about business and entrepreneurship is when we can tell and we can feel we're heading in the wrong direction, but we keep going anyway, right? Because we're kind of used to, a lot of us probably have had childhood trauma and difficulties growing up, so learned helplessness is familiar, and sort of making things work even though they're not working is probably something you know how to do really well. Like, oh, you know, this is not comfortable, this level of fear, this level of uncertainty, it's not comfortable, but it's familiar, so I'm going to keep going. Okay, that's a big reason why I want to share as much as I can in the next 3 days. And when I was inspired to do Sal's Angel Heart, the masterclass, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, the first one, it was so fun because I really saw my sisters come alive with understanding of business, you know, mechanics, like the actual mechanic of business, and selling packages instead of sessions. Okay, it changes everything. It's going to change your income. It's going to change how much free time you have to be with your family. It's going to change, selling packages even drastically improves your clients' results. So when they leave you testimonials, the testimonials are a lot more result oriented versus just, oh, how are you doing after one session? You know, people are usually really nice and they'll say, oh, it was amazing, I loved it. But that's not what you ultimately want. For long-term sustainability, you want result testimonials, like working with Deborah meant that I was here and now I'm here. Okay. So those are the testimonials that you can use when you have a program, when you launch the program again, or when you do, one-on-one. Those testimonials are going to make you feel like, oh, I can do this again. I can launch my one-on-one offers again and it will work. Okay. So, okay. Okay, Amy. All right, sounds good. She's here for exactly the same thing as Deborah. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let me wrap back up my thoughts to what it's going to take to help you the most. So, on your way to having a successful, sort of consistent incomes coming in, there are several factors you're going to want to address. And my water bottle is over there. I might have to get up and get it. Whenever I share any kind of tips, any kind of strategy, anything that's going to improve your business, you can be completely sure they will only come out of 3 categories. Yeah. And I actually made a little tiny presentation for this, but I don't know if this is necessary, but it's going to be sales mechanics, like the actual sales etiquette, like how to get people on board, how to get them into your world. And once they are in your world, how do you sell them a package for their well-being, for their transformation? Okay, that's sales mechanics. Like that's an actual practical, very sort of very left brain logical A plus B equals C. Like those are like rules, laws. They've been tested over time, decades. They work. Okay, it's like once someone is in your world, what should you do? So whenever I share anything, it's going to go from either into that sales mechanics, very mechanical. Oh, do I have an application with 3 questions? Yes or no? If you don't have that, like number 1, you got to set that up. So if anyone ever comes into your world, it's like, how do I work with you? The number 1 answer is always, oh, just fill this out. 3 questions, no more, to find out if they're the right person for you. And then from there, they book a call. And on the call, you've got to follow a 5-step protocol. Very simple. Usually 9 times out of 10 people buy. Okay. It's just been proven over and over again. That's the easy part. Like me showing you showing you how to do it. People buy packages from that. So easy. It won't matter how much you charge. Most people buy paying full. All of it is mechanical, easy. Let's go. Okay. The second category is going to be the category we're going to go into today, which is more of the realm of magic, attraction, and your emotional set point. So the one thing you got to remember from today, really, if we're going to talk about magic, is just really, I know this is going to sound so simple, but sales are so linked to shame. So if I ever have like a down month or a down week and I'm not selling as much or money's not coming in as easily, I've seen this over many years. I've had a business for 16 years, so I have several years of data. And then when I tell this to my clients, they're like, oh yeah. So the number 1 thing to really get cleaned up in your energy is shame. Shame will literally block receiving, it will block flow, it will block your intuition, it will block writing, going live, all of it. Okay, so we'll clean up shame together today. I'll show you my way of doing it, and then you'll see if it works for you. Number 1 is shame and guilt, but shame is pretty heavy. So it could be the slightest thing, like you could have yelled at your kids last week and now you feel shame that you haven't really inventoried and unpacked. And so the next 3 weeks, you're like, how come I don't have any sales? Oh, I felt shame about that. Your car broke down, and your finances, your body. Like, unfortunately, there are so many things that we might be feeling ashamed of, and it just derails the energy of receiving. So you could have the best strategy in the world. You could have a Chanel store in the most expensive street in New York or Paris. But if you feel small, if you feel constricted, if you don't feel worthy, If you feel shame on any level, you're not going to have sales. Does that make sense, ladies? Because sales is about, it's like this beautiful exchange, this magical exchange of giving and receiving. It's like sparkles and gold, and it's magic. Okay, so Deborah and Emmy asked about overcoming blocks to putting myself out there and opening myself energetically. So think about this. This is another sort of category that we're going to talk about. It's your identity and your badass and what you do. Okay, so the identity, the badass, what she does, how she gets into flow, what time she wakes up, her habits, those will get constricted as well if your bigger picture is not something your heart believes in or is aligned with. Or, I mean, your heart's going to be aligned with the best, but your mind's going to get in the way. So in identity, we'll do belief work a little bit, but really the core is, how is my heart, my emotion, my level of shame, okay? Because if you can clean up shame and sticky recurring feelings around you receiving, tomorrow you're going to get up earlier and go for that run or that walk, and then you'll get those ideas, okay? Really the third category when it comes to your business and manifesting sales is about thinking of the bigger picture. Like I was telling you about connecting vertically to your infinite self, to your higher self, to your future self, getting out of just that sense of feeling like, oh, I'm stuck and I'm just seeing myself as stuck, okay? We don't want to do that because the mind loves to use previous evidence to create our future reality, okay? It feels really safe when it does that. So I'm going to use an example from an actual client, okay? This is Eva. She lives in Singapore and she has 2 kids and a beautiful husband, and they all live together in Singapore. And when we met, it was at least 2 years ago. I want to say it was during the first or the second round of the Sales Angel Heart Masterclass. And I want to paint the picture here for you because then you'll understand this literally works for everybody. And whenever I share a story of somebody who's made it and is on the other side, it's so you can like combat your own limiting beliefs and be like, oh, if she did it, so can I. I mean, I'm not so special that it can't work for me, right? If it's worked for everyone who's ever worked on these 3 pillars, it's going to work for you if you work on those 3 pillars, right? We don't know how long it's going to take, but there's going to come a point where it's just going to flip. Like you're going to find the block, dissolve it. I'll show you how to do some of that today and be like, oh, I don't need to align to that anymore. I don't need to make that true anymore. Okay. So Eva came to me petrified. Like she was so shy on the call. I think we recorded it. It was like she kind of won something, I think, in one of the call. So she was like, how am I ever going to sell a one-off session of RTT? Like, how is it going to ever work for me? And she signed up for, I can't remember exactly which offer it was, but I think she signed up for one-on-ones with Sales Angel Heart, like the strategy and then one-on-one work to do all the subconscious work. And she went on to sell painful packages. So 3 months painful for maybe 3,000, 4,000. I think her highest that she got to quote to someone on the phone was for 5,000. So you take someone who's like, how am I going to sell a $200 session, to knowing how to use the 3 pillars to then be able to say, hey, it was so good to talk to you during the discovery call, that strategy call. If you want me to help you go from A to B, we're going to need 3 months. So I can really help you work on this, and that. And then at the end of the conversation, most often people say, yes, I'm so ready, let's do it. How can we get started? And then, Eva would answer, oh, yes, we can get started on Tuesday. It's weekly calls, it's for 3 months. Okay, and then the person may ask, how much is it? Okay, at that point, most people have felt incredibly held by you as the potential practitioner, and they have felt heard. They have felt like you put a plan together that feels really solid and it comes from your heart. Very important. And the person is completely in their heart. They're not in their head thinking of like, what's logical here. They're not in their head in fear or anything. They're really fully in their heart. And 99% of the time, we all make emotional decisions, like from the heart. We buy from the heart, we buy from a place of like, yay, I really want to buy this sweater, or I want to buy this gift for my son, or oh, I want to go on this trip, oh, I want to buy this new car. Like all of our decisions, most buyers that will come to you will make decisions when they're in their heart and in their their emotions, not when they're in their head. So we won't go into it too much today because I want to save a whole call for that. But just keep in mind that the call is about them getting in their heart, and you're completely holding space for them to do that. But they won't do it on their own. Okay, just so you know, ladies, like people are scared. People are getting on the phone with you and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't even know why I'm on this call. But you get to ask specific questions that are really loving and heart-centered, and that's going to hold the person to go deeper. Yeah, and you're going to have that strong identity. So I think I did a live a couple days ago about being the glass container for their chaos. Like they're all over the place. They have all these issues they've had forever. And you come in with a very strong glass container that's like, let me hold you. I'm going to hold you. I'm going to ask questions, and I'm not going to let you escape them. Because most people are going to be like, oh, my husband wants to divorce. And that's surface. And then you have to go, what? Wait, what do you mean? How long have you been married? What got you guys together? Wait, what triggered this, you think? And how is that making you feel that your husband wants a divorce? What about the kids? You're being really kind and intuitive and being like, we could turn this around. Like we don't tell them that then, but with RTT, with all the tools you have, with all of the ways you know how to unpack, unforgiveness, you can easily be like, actually, in the back of your mind, divorce is avoidable with the right tools, with the right mentoring, with the right forgiveness process and the right intention process. So when you hold space for someone to realize that if they don't take action and work with you, divorce is a lot more expensive than working with you for 3 months, right? So, like, I'm kind of helping you learn a new language that is like your badass language, to be like, I need to be strong here to hold her, to show her that I got her if she's willing to step in. Now, will you help 100% of everybody who signs up? Not necessarily, but for a lot of people who did sign up to get your help, like I always tell my clients, I say, you know what? I don't know a person on this planet who doesn't need at least 1 month of RTT plus everything else. I don't know a single person who wouldn't benefit from at least one RTT session and at least, something, anything. And sometimes the window of time that you have to get their attention, to get them in your world, to understand that they're here, and if they don't do anything, it's going to get worse. Sometimes the window of time is kind of small, right? So when they fill out those 3 questions and they book the call with you to sort of map out what you could help them with, you then are able to sort of be like, I'm so sorry your husband wants a divorce, but what would you like instead? Okay, so these are like the 5 steps protocol on the sales call and the discovery call. But just so you know, I want to give you that sort of micro view of it, because when we talk about healing shame in you, it's because I want your confidence in yourself to be so solid, because your energy is so squeaky clean. Like you literally did an inventory of what you feel fear and shame about or guilt, and it's so clean. You're so good with it. Like you've totally cleaned it up to the point that you can be a complete clean channel for truth and light and support, and that glass container for the person coming in. Okay, does that make sense so far? Why I'm giving you where we're going, so you can understand how people go from not selling a session to selling like a $5,000 package, and having, sometimes many people in my world have 5-figure months because people pay in full. Okay, a lot of people love paying in full. Now, I know that might sound crazy and like, why would anybody do that? Actually, a lot of people feel better when they find you, you lay out the plan and you go, okay, it's 3 months, 3,000, let's say. And when they pay you, it is the easiest decision you've asked them to do. Like For somebody to just wire you the money, it is a breath of fresh air for them. It is the easiest decision they've had to make. Compared to the amount of emotional pain they've been in, compared to the amount of chaos they've been in, you're just asking them to commit to this is a gift you're giving them. Now, I know I can say that with confidence because I've been on the sales calls for years. I started doing this in 2015. So it's been a long time that I've sold packages that way. But every time anybody said yes, they were saying yes to themselves. They're paying themselves to show up. Okay. They're not paying you. You're not taking their money. They're paying themselves. Does that make sense, ladies? Okay. Let's take a breath. And if you're taking notes, that's okay. Just when we get to the whole part about cleaning up your energy around this, you can maybe relax and just lean back and receive. Yeah? Okay. So really, the number one thing I want you to remember today is if I feel brain fog, if I feel anxious, if I feel nervous, if I feel business PTSD coming on, I have a sticky recurring feeling. It can be shame, it can be guilt, it can be fear, but just most likely the biggest block is shame. Shame makes us turn our back towards the people in the world, and it makes us hide, which starts the downhill battle of under-earning. So just like you have alcoholics who maybe have childhood trauma and shame from childhood and a lack of love, which leads to porn addiction, it leads to overeating, it leads to alcoholism. Under-earning in sort of sensitive women, intuitive women, is us compulsively and in a way kind of addictively hiding because of shame and a lack of love and approval and a lack of like security. Yeah. When I got caught up in overeating and it was compulsive and I ended up in a 12-step program because of overeating, I 100% can tell you it was because of fear. I was terrified. My mother just died of cancer. I was 18. My older brother and dad had already passed away when I was 10 and 12. So it was like, what am I going to do? Like, this is insane. Yeah. I was all alone in a new country in the United States. I was French, but it's like, what is going on? So I had to believe in a higher power to restore me to sanity, which thank you God, he did. I haven't overeaten since, and this was in 2008. So when you do feel yourself go down a slippery slope of hiding and oh, I'll get to it tomorrow, procrastinating. Oh, I don't need to worry about money. I have a little bit of money left. It's a disservice to your recovery. It's a disservice to the people who needed you yesterday, So, and if you want to unpack, hey, do I maybe need to go to a 12-step program to have support? I'm happy to talk about that as well privately if you want to DM me. But there are Under Earners Anonymous programs. Really, the principle behind the 12 steps is you admit to a higher power that you don't got this. Like, I'm struggling here. I really need help with hiding, shame, guilt. Okay. Which in my world, it's like we need to pause. We need to retreat to treat our heart, and we need to pause, and we need to take a breath. We need to come down into the heart center, and we need to just acknowledge and name that there's a feeling and a whole bunch of post-trauma symptoms coming up right now. And please don't push yourself through those. Acknowledge them, love them, accept them, and call on the light, call on a higher power. Connect vertically is what you'll hear me talk about a lot in my world, because it will help you clean up the low vibration and like the sticky recurring happening. How am I doing? Is the internet working okay? Okay, yes. Thank you. Okay. I think this is working. So yeah, when we go down the pillar, so this is the pillar of your emotional well-being. This is like you're super clean, your energy squeaky clean. You've inventoried fear, anger, resentment, shame. Okay, shame is the big one. Who or what makes me feel ashamed today, yesterday, last week? What do I feel shame about? That if anybody found out, I'd be petrified, okay? We got to surrender that to the light, to God, to higher power, and experience freedom and healing in minutes, literally in minutes. So step one, I have to acknowledge there's an issue here and I need help. I got to pause, retreat to treat my heart just for a few minutes. You don't have to spend days doing this. It really can be fast, okay? Then, obviously, in doing that, you acknowledge you believe in a source, a loving, benevolent energy beyond yourself that is hearing you, loving you, and can help restore you to sanity, can help restore you to truth. And I'll show you today how to calm the light to kind of delete, uncreate, transmute a bunch of things that are a bunch of lies, really, when it comes to sales, visibility, and being just being received and receiving the other person, having that energetic exchange. Then, you just sort of give up the inventory. You just surrender it, whether you want to talk to a friend and tell her what's going on, or you want to share in a sisterhood. I have a ping pong sisterhood where we do this together. There's a whole WhatsApp group where everybody can be like, hey, is anyone around to do a 10-step or to do a fear turnaround? Or is anybody around to ping pong? So we can kind of continually clean this up, because I have to tell you, if you ping pong on something you want, ping ponging means you're cleaning up the fear or the shame or the guilt around approval, control, safety. You just get it so fast. Okay, I've seen people get $100, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000. It works for every level. And even actually, I have a client who is in the 7 figures. So she got to $1 million, a previous client. Okay, so awesome. Let me go open the internet door. The office door to get better internet, and grab my water. I'll be right back. Hopefully it's been working okay. All right. Yeah, let's drink something and then we'll get going into the perfect. We're half past the hour. Okay. So, yeah, whenever you want to increase sales, the business PTSD and the anxiety, I just want to say this, it can also be triggered by the fact that you're just missing knowing how to technically drive the car. Like if I didn't know how to fly a plane and I'm like, hey, let's fly a plane, to have a successful business, you need to get on a plane and know how to fly from here to here. I'd be like, then I don't want a successful business, because I do not want to fly a plane and I don't know how. But I can go learn how to fly a plane, for, I don't know, 6 months or 3 months. And then I'll be like, all right. If it's required that I know how to fly a plane to have a successful business, I'm going to go learn it and then I'll do it. And then I'll be able to have a successful business. Yeah. So the sales mechanics is like, oh, maybe your heart knows that the way you're going about telling people your price, which is what a lot of people do, which is a very big mistake. You do not want to share your prices to people who ask your prices, not at the beginning, not while you're trying to get your business off the ground. The reason being is, I'm going to tell you the scenario. This is what happens. Maybe you wake up, you check your emails, and somebody's inquiring about your services, and the number one thing they ask is, how much is it? First of all, they're not in the right mindset, because what they're really asking is like, they're not really asking the right question. They're hurt. They're going through something difficult. Maybe a relationship broke up again. Maybe they lost a bunch of money. Maybe they're overweight. Maybe they're worried about a health concern. They got a health diagnosis, and they're trying to make up in their mind. If a session is 200 or 150 or 350, they're trying to shop around for the price. This is the number one way to get stuck and never get better, is to go and do that, to shop around for a bunch of different healers and try this one, try that one. Hopefully in one session, you'll be cured of insomnia that you've had for 29 years, right? Like that's not how it works. So what I recommend you do, so if you're going about it in a way that's going to not lead to success, because a lot of you probably watching me have like, yeah, I tried that, and then they always come back and say somebody else is cheaper, or they did pay 200 for the session. I worked 5 hours on the RTT script, and I worked 3 hours on the RTT, and then I followed up with them, so I made like $25 an hour total, and then you only had one client like that the whole month. So how are you going to live on $200 or 200 pounds in a month? You can't live on that, so it's not going to work. And there's nothing wrong with you. Like, I really want to get that across. Like, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not unworthy of making more. You're not broken. You don't need to be fixed. You were born absolutely valuable and worthy, and you're not here by accident. And your business angels, your business babies who came to you with these business ideas to, like Deborah teaches these sister circles in her community, or wants to, she does these retreats. Like, whatever you do, you're meant to do it. Like, it didn't come to you by accident. You're here for a reason, and you're valuable regardless of how much money you make. Okay, really important, ladies. Like, hopefully we have time to really do a deep meditation on that today, because it's like, you are valuable. You have access to approval and security and control innately inside you. And no matter what people say to you on the outside, it will not affect you deeply, deeply inside. Okay. So when you feel anxious and you have business PTSD and you can't focus on what to write, how to do this, what to send the emails, can it be shame? Yeah. Can it be shame that you haven't inventoried and cleaned up? Sure. It can also come from just not knowing how to answer people who inquire about your business. Yay! Amy says, I would love to do sister circles. Yeah, I highly recommend local circles, local anything, meditations, meetups, because the local people can become your greatest fans, and they will know, like, and trust you very quickly, and want to probably work with you and hire you to do whatever is going on for them. It's a lot easier to sell or to make offers when you have people who come do stuff with you every week than it is to sell on a Facebook post when you're kind of starting out. Okay. So yeah, look into it. You could do sister circles or meetups, and even start going to meetups in your local area. Okay. Just to go and get a sense of what's going on. But keep in mind that today's about magic, so we'll clean up shame and then we'll go into magic, because it's the intention you set. So Amy, you just sent out a spark of desire, like, I want to do sister circles, right? I would love it. And it literally lit up your dopamine and your, all the parts of your brain who are like activated by that, and it's creating happy hormones. And sister circles are like super high oxytocin, like they just oxytocin each other when we're like, just, I believe sisterhood is a greater generator of oxytocin than even, hanging out with guys or dating a guy. Like, sometimes actually being with my sisters is incredible. So where I'm going with that is that you just set that intention. You're like, universe, I see it done. I have it. I see it. Close your eyes, pray, love it, see it already happened. I am, and declare it. I am leading sister circles, or I'm participating in them. And then you just feel love and gratitude that it's already done. I allow myself to lead sister circles, and then you let it go. You let it go. And you just sort of dream these things up. So this is how I started, ladies. Like, I was walking through Las Vegas Boulevard, going to Whole Foods there. It was a huge shopping center that they were opening. And I grew up in France, then I moved to San Diego with my mom. That's a whole miracle manifestation, by the way, that we moved to San Diego. That like did not look like it was going to happen. My mom had breast cancer and my dad and brother just died. So it didn't look like I was going to just move to California, but we manifested it. And then I moved to LA for college. I went to UCLA, and then I bought a little tiny, cute little house in Vegas. I kind of never really lived in it, though. I was always traveling. But this one time I'm in Vegas, and I walk through Whole Foods, and I have this like download, like you just had, Amy. It was like, I want to teach angel meditations in this Whole Foods. Like, how cool. This is on Las Vegas Boulevard, where everyone's kind of lost in the casinos, and And I just let it go. It was a thought, it was just an idea, it was like a request. And I leave to go to Switzerland for a few months to visit my sister. I'm kind of working there. My healing business hasn't really started. I'm working like jobs there, and then a little bit I'm doing some angel readings online to people, whoever finds me online. But then I come back to Vegas and I go to the strip with my best friend Farah during Earth Hour, which is when it was like for Earth Day, they had turned off all the lights. It was all dark on the strip, which was quite incredible. And people were dancing and drumming. And this was back in 2009, I want to say. I'd have to look up the date. So I run into this woman who's like dancing with all the drummers, like those drummers, right? And I'm like, what is this? This is like, I found my people, you know? Because I'd been traveling, and I got the nudge when I was in Switzerland to come back to Vegas, and I had received my spiritual name Danielle Dove when I was in Switzerland, and then I was like, okay, I'm coming, I'm here, I'm ready. So I meet Jada, who is like this beautiful dancer, and she's like, oh, what do you do and everything? And my friend Farah says to Jada, oh, she's this incredible angel lady. And so Jada goes, you should teach at my studio. I'm like, okay. And then I go to meet her, and her studio happens to be inside Whole Foods on Las Vegas Boulevard. She opened a yoga studio called Barefoot Sanctuary in Whole Foods. And unfortunately, they've closed since then because it was bought by Amazon. But for 10 years, I believe they had a studio in there, and I got to teach there. And from there, other spiritual centers contacted me to work with them at their studios. So that's how my career actually started. It was with that one desire and wish, Amy. It was like, what if? What if? Okay. It all came from the heart. It was totally innocent, and I had no plan. I just kept following next steps. Okay. Just trusting and following next steps. Okay. So now, what did I do on my own time is what I'm going to show you ladies today, which was connecting to God and the light to clean up every shame and unworthiness and resentment and fear. I kept cleaning that up. I kept, following my intuition and trusting in what I was being shown to do and what I was being guided to do. Okay. Really getting the ego out of the way is really what we're being asked to do, right? Okay, let me see if there was anything else I want to summarize. So business PTSD. I could be heading in the office to try and work on a sales page, but I don't even know who I'm really talking to. I don't really know my client avatar. I haven't even really done any market research. And I think she's going to need this because it's my idea, but I don't really freaking know because I haven't really put myself out there. So you might experience brain fog and paralysis because you're heading in the wrong direction, okay? So that's another thing, is just be like, all right, I can't write right now. I cannot get myself behind the computer, do anything. What am I being guided to do? What feels easier to do? And make it super small. So, okay, it's hard to put a whole funnel together, put a whole sales page together. It's hard to come up with what goes into my package. All right, scratch that. Don't do that. Like, just skip it. Instead, what feels more natural, what feels easier to do, go do that. It will build your confidence when you can decide, I'm going to take this action and I'm going to just go complete it. Okay. So, but what I am going to pray for you is that you have absolute clear guidance and that your thoughts are inspired by the best business angel, your guides, your angels, your business higher self, who's going to be like downloading into your mind the best absolute actions to take to move your business forward. Okay. Does that make sense? How sometimes, oh, I don't know how to handle requests and I don't know how to take people through a sales conversation. You got to learn that. Or I'm just trying to push and force it and work on the wrong thing. And I need to take a step back and do what's easiest next. And maybe going to meet a bunch of women at a breakfast conference or, at a meetup is going to feel a lot easier than trying to put a whole website together. All right. So We're good? Just taking a quick pause to check the Facebook group. Okay. All right. Okay, so this is going to help with all of the PTSD symptoms. And it's to counteract the very familiar, I feel helpless, powerless, I want to hide, I don't see how I'm ever going to get out of this. Yeah? Which is very familiar to me as well. Like, I've struggled with that. My clients all have struggled with that, by the way. Most of my clients, keeping it mostly anonymous, most of them have had some kind of trauma and abuse and helplessness. Okay, just so you know. So when you see, when I'll share their success stories in the next few days, you'll just in the back of your mind be like, don't think, oh, this must be easy for her. No, like everyone has had PTSD and trauma and abuse and had very sticky recurring beliefs and of like unworthiness and who am I to have this. And still, I can think of one person this year who's had 2 5-figure months, which means 3 people or more bought from her within a month and paid in full. So over $3,000 per person, like trusted her to be like, yes, you're my person. I'm gonna walk with you for 3 months. Let's go. Okay, everything I share for you again has helped me overcome under earning and hiding, and it's helped all of the clients, the sisters that I've had who are hypnotherapists or healers, overcome their own stuff. Okay, so it's very geared to helping heal and overcome PTSD, but also the mechanics and then your identity. Okay, Amy says, I feel that's what I've been doing is waiting to be healed to start my practice. I can relate to everything you're saying. Yeah, and you know what my saying for that is healers need to heal others. A healer will never feel happy or like joyful, elated, magical unless they're active as a healer, healing other people, healing is a vast umbrella. Like me trying to help you with your business today, changing your mindset, telling you different things to move energy around is healing, right? I paid my dues going from house to house with all my crystals and my angel cards, doing energy healing on people for 90 minutes and giving them angel messages. Like I did that for years and I still do it, but differently now. My aura does a lot of healing and my voice does a lot of healing. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is you can be on a sales call and the person doesn't buy, but it's the best conversation they've ever had in their entire life because of the way you held space and asked questions and came from such a strong, powerful place. Deborah, my badass has come out this week. I've been getting up early, exercising every day, been super productive and focused and made decisions about future events. And now working towards hosting my first sister circle. Yay! I love it. Deborah's been she's in my year-long program, but she's been in Divine Radiance Marketing. I love that name. Divine Radiance Marketing. And you've also taken Selling Your Power, I believe, Deborah. Yeah. So I haven't shared a whole lot about me. I don't know how well you guys know me, but I'm very mission focused. Like I've been a healer for 16 years and my entire business model has been to certify people to become healers and then train them to go out there and do the work to help people by selling packages, not sessions. And I won't go into the whole reason why, but we really do a lot of disservice when we just sell one-off sessions. It's a huge disservice to them and to us, obviously, but mostly to them. Because you got the tools, you can use them. You have your sisterhood. They're lost out there, not knowing what they need. And the one time they reach out, they need to be held in a way that really gives them a sense of understanding what's possible for them. Because if you were water, just chaotic water, and no vase, no container, you don't experience your true self. Like, you don't really know what you're capable of. But if somebody comes in with a vase, now you can have flowers, and now you can have fishes, and now you can create things with the water. But if the water is just running down chaotically, not knowing where they're going, you don't feel like you have a purpose. You know what I mean? But you come in with this, like, hey, I got you. This is what you need based on what you told me on the form, based on what you're telling me now. In order to go from here to here, you're going to need this. And I'm the expert here. I'm not the student. Okay, you're the expert when you're on the call. You can be a student whenever you want, but when you're in your business, you're not a student, you're an expert. You are an expert to somebody else below you. Like, you're in 9th grade and you're helping a 6th grader. You're in 12th grade and you're helping a 10th grader. Like, you're still, way above. Like, in my other videos on in Sales Angel Heart Sisterhood, you'll see that I talk a lot about there are people out there who don't know anything about the subconscious, who don't even understand the power of the subconscious. They don't know anything about chakras or meditating or how to connect to nature to feel love. Like, they don't know a lot of anything that you all know. Like, you all know 90% more than most people when it comes to well-being. And I know, like, your number one objection is going to be like, yeah, but I'm not healed. That's okay. You will never be completely healed. Oprah, Louise Hay, Doreen Virtue, even Tony Robbins, these guys aren't healed. Like, we don't get healed and then we can finally heal other people. It's an evolution forever. It's growth forever, I've helped a lot of people and I'm not healed. I'm far from feeling like I'm healed, but awakening and enlightenment is a journey. It's not a destination. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's do it. Let me guide you through the exercise I would do if I felt like something's up with my cells. I'm in the way. What's going on? Okay. So retreat to treat your heart. It's a pen and paper kind of exercise. I haven't warned you to bring anything, but if you can, just grab a pen and paper. And it's a very simple but super powerful exercise, which is just take your temperature to see where you are with your feelings and your thoughts. So you have two options. You can either really look at who or what makes me feel shame and say your name, feel shame because, and you just fill it out and you go as quick as you can, intuitively fill it out. And I feel shame because, and just, it's going to be random beliefs, just random statements, just write them all out. If shame is not what you're resonating with, put another feeling that is coming up for you, okay? That's okay. You don't have to do that one, but just number it out of 10. How intense is the feeling? Because. And if you want, just like when. You just complete the sentence. Okay. I'm going to show you how to connect to the light to clean all this up. You can do this before a sales call. You could do this every morning. You could do this 3 times a day, but it's really inviting a higher power, a higher consciousness, a source of love to come in and help reclaim the most important instincts that we all were born with, but they become misdirected when we think other people or external achievements will bring it to us. So I feel shame because I haven't sold anything. I feel shame because so-and-so said, and I'm starting to believe that I'm no good and I'm not good enough. Like, we want the dark and the gray and the heavy because we're going to clean this up. Now, there are 3 free audios to do this with, because sometimes when we start to take stuff apart, you might start to feel Whoa, this gets a little heavy. So you might need to have a beautiful space you're in to help you clean this up. So for example, you could be sitting outside by the trees. You could be in the car by the beach watching the sunset. You could be having your favorite cup of tea in the morning with honey. You do want to do this when you're not already feeling totally depressed. Okay. You want to be kind of, hey, I'm curious here. I want to clean this up, but you're not having a sushi roll day, like where you just want to hide under the covers. Okay, so just to give you a very empowering practice is all you got to do is feel your feelings for them to pass. It's just feel your feelings for them to pass. So whenever I would get a really sticky recurring feeling of like, it can get really heavy for me sometimes when my post-trauma comes back, I just always have this reminder is, oh, here you go, you're here, hello, let me feel you all the way through to completion. So if I'm out and about and I gotta just feel the feeling, I invite it in and I feel it and I don't push it down. I just hug it. Like I take it in, I bring it in like a cover, like a blanket. I just hug it. And I tell you, it will go down by probably 50% when you do that because you're not resisting it. So try it now. Let me know what number you like. Actually, in the comments, if you want to fill it out, like just your feeling, your number, and your because, and I'll help you through it. And if you're watching the replay, you could do this too. Just like leave it below. And we're going to bring in a space bigger than the feeling to hold you and to let it pass through. Yeah, there you go, guys. Ooh, I felt that. So feelings become beliefs and beliefs become things, okay? Thoughts become things. What we speak, what we say, what we think becomes outcomes and things. So because feelings become beliefs, if we feel the feeling all the way through to completion to a 0, the belief collapses and is deleted and a better belief comes upon or paper, and it is called scripting. You now start to script. So I'll say that again. This is what's so powerful about this step is, oh, I'm triggered. I feel a feeling of shame. I'm unworthy. I'll never make it. You feel the shame from a 9 to a 0. Because the shame is gone, the belief is gone. And now you're like, actually, I can figure this out. I believe in myself. Things come to me with ease. More and more clients want to work with me. I see my income increase. I'm capable of doing this. I've done harder things in my life. Do you see how I pivoted there? We get bigger, taller by cleaning this up. This is my secret weapon, guys. Like when I get on calls with clients who are like, hey, I haven't had clients. I'm like, let's clean this up. And then they call me and they're like, oh, 2 people booked me for discovery calls and one of them paid in full. This is literally where you want to start. Okay. Of course, you still need to know how to sell on the phone on a discovery call. But if you know how to do this, you're going to be set free for the rest of your life. So where are you ladies at with your feeling and your number? Just give me the feeling and the number. I might do it with you ladies, actually. That way. Yeah, let me get a pen and paper. Okay, Deborah, but it's only a 2 out of 10. Try to find a feeling that's like an 8. Get a little inventory. We'll still do that one, but fear, worry, guilt, anything on the scale of consciousness that's lower. Let me show you the scale of consciousness. So fear. So, and then what's behind the fear? I feel afraid because, and then listen for the beliefs, because the beliefs are exactly what your subconscious is receiving as an order to create. Yeah. So if your fear is 6 out of 10, nobody will want to work with me, I'm not good enough, that will become a manifestation. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So your feelings are always your best friends. They will always help you get out of anxiety, because anxiety is telling you, hey, you're heading into a situation that is not going to feel good. You know, you're heading into more of the same. So this is the scale of consciousness from Dr. Hawkins. He measured people's sort of energy and feelings through this and then created this scale. So worry, fear. So shame is all the way down here, unworthiness, powerlessness, despair. Again, like if you have any shame on any level, of course it's hard to receive money. Money tend to be made really easily when we're in 500, right? Like 400 to 500, you're gonna just call in money and parking spots and dates and food and surprises and miracles, and it just shows up. Everything else, it's gonna feel heavier, like harder to get through. But it's okay, because you guys are gonna know how to clean this up today. All right, let's do it. Okay, Amy, I got you. She's feeling guilty for not making an income and spending my savings. Yeah, and just so you know, it's like if an overeater, like I felt guilty and shame overeating when I had my overeating days, and it's not our fault. Like living on earth is hard. Like we're supposed to figure this whole thing out by ourselves. Money hasn't been in the hands of women for that many generations. Like we're pretty much the first generation to truly have financial independence from men. So it's okay, be gentle with yourself, but do use the tools and do yeah, if you feel like, hey, I need an under earner anonymous meeting, you can go, they're free, Okay. There's lots of financial help in those meetings as well. And I also have my sisterhood that's really, really helpful. And we have a Sales Angel summer school coming up as well. Okay, so the fear causes paralysis. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and Deborah, be careful when you say, oh, I'm down to my last 200 pounds, because the truth of it is probably not your last 200 pounds. You're probably, if you, it's like, I don't know how to explain this, but there's a familiarity too to being like, oh, I only have 200 pounds left. Let me now kick my ass into gear. What am I trying to prove to the universe when I keep having to struggle and I keep having to go back to, under earning or poverty? Like, how am I being right about something that I can finally be like, please God, I'm willing to change my mind. I'm willing to see things differently. This can change. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and go through the energy healing and the clearing, and you're going to start hearing new beliefs to help you script, because you want the new belief to feel more true than the old one. If the old one still feels true, then it will still manifest. Yeah, you guys know that. So the magic of this is, oh, I can just believe in something that's better. Now, when I shared about my Vegas, teaching in Las Vegas story, I never really had to clean around it because it wasn't something that felt, how do I explain this? I didn't have to clean shame or guilt or fear around it, but I had to clear guilt, fear, and shame around a bunch of other things in the meantime. So sometimes you'll be like, why am I clearing on this? It doesn't feel like it's relevant, but it is, okay? Because when you clean up fear, guilt, shame for anything, it cleans it up across the board for all the things you want to call in. All right, so we're going to start with your name. And behind your name, you probably feel in this example a fear or a lack, or like a fear of lacking approval, a fear of lacking safety, or a fear of lacking control. And it could be all three, and we're going to do all three anyway, but just notice which one it is. Behind my name, in this example, I feel afraid of lacking approval, control, or safety. And right after we're done with this, I'll show you a second way to do this. That's sort of a shortcut that can also help really, really fast. So whichever one it is, you want to go back and think of a moment in the last day, in the last week, where you did have approval. So I'm talking like your favorite pet just loves you unconditionally, your favorite person, you got a hug from somebody that felt really good. Just try to think of a moment, and if you don't have one, you just imagine a moment in a movie that like you're the main character in the movie and be like, oh, that would feel so good to have a hug, to be loved. You can imagine angels pouring love and approval into your field. They're just whispering beautiful things into your ear, like you're capable, you're amazing, we love you, there's only one like you, no one else in the world is like you. And you just keep loving you and the inner child inside you, and decide that I am a match for absolute love and approval all of the time. I'm doing my best and I love and approve of myself. So let all that love and approval trickle down into your heart, into your field. And just, if you close your eyes, you can even imagine that you're inside a flowing waterfall of light. It's just flowing and flowing and flowing. And every little particle of light goes into your body, into your organs, into your energy field, and just scoops up and showers into every cell, every molecule, codes of love and cherishing you, respecting you, strengthening you, praising you, believing in you. Yeah, like let yourself receive this approval just because. Just because I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself. Let it in. You came from love, you are love, and you'll go back to love. That's who you are. Everything else is temporary. All right, good. Let that go in, expand your aura. If you close your eyes, you just feel like the more you get filled up with love and approval, even more love and approval, even more love and approval, you're going to find the part in you who doesn't want you to have love and approval, who wants to punish you. Like as you put your eyes inward and you let yourself get a lot of love and approval, I want you ladies to find the part in you who's like kind of grumpy and judgmental and critical, and it's like, I want to disapprove of you, right? Like that voice in your head, and just go, that's okay, you want to disapprove of me? Okay, just embrace that part. Just hug it like the blanket, embrace it. Trust me, it will only dissolve. What you resist persists, what you love dissolves. Love this part who wants to be negative and kind of grumpy and disapprove of you, and just be like, I love you, I accept you, I love you, accept you, and like let it come in like a blanket, like a heavy blanket. Yeah, there you go. Let it pass through you. Hug it a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And can you let go of disapproving of this part? Can you let go disapproving of the part in you who's kind of heavy and dark? Yeah, there you go. And just say yes, think yes, feel yes. Can you let go of disapproving of it? Yes? Yes, 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 yes. I got to hear you all the way through Zoom. You don't have to unmute. I'm just saying. Can you let go of disapproving of it, this part in you? Yeah, there you go. Good. Oof. Can you let go of disapproving of it even more and even more and even more and even more? Yes, 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 yes. Yes, even more and even more. And even more. I'm asking that many times on purpose. Can you let go of disapproving of this part even more? Now, it probably has revealed its true self behind all the darkness. It's probably a little girl in there who's scared. So just look at the part and ask it, like, how old are you? And she'll answer you immediately, or he'll answer you immediately. You'll hear an age, like it will just pop in. How old are you? Ooh. And what are you beginning to believe? What do you need? And you want to just listen for the part and just completely agree with it. Like, yeah, really? That's awful. And just repeat back to it whatever it tells you. Like, no one cares about me. Really? No one cares about you. Make this part completely right. Do not try to negate it or change its mind. Just be like, yeah. Whatever it says, you validate. Oh, really? Yeah, nothing is ever going to happen for you. No one loves you. Oof, yeah. And then as you keep letting the part unpack what's going on for him or her, and you validate, you're going to start to make a promise, okay? And the promise is going to come from this place in you. You're the mom, you're the adult who's going to tell the part, say, hey, if me going after success and having a business means that, like whatever the part told you, whatever it said, I know I don't know exactly what it told you, but you're trying to make a promise based on what you learned that the part told you and based on what you want. You want to make a promise that's like this. Hey, I promise you that if this, and that came true and that would really bother you and blah, 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 and da, 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 da. Like if you think my success would mean I abandon you, if it means my success means we could be exposed to people not approving of us, I won't do it. Like, I won't do it. You're more important to me than that. And make it really true that your own well-being, your own emotional health is more important than all the success in the world. Okay, we're going to do more after that, but just make sure the part hears you and trusts you. So I promise you that if all of those things are happening and it's causing you pain and da 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 da, I won't do it. You're way more important to me. I'm only gonna do it as long as you still have this, this, and that. Whatever he told you, you're using that to help create a really deep, deep, honest promise. I promise you that I'm only gonna do it as long as this, and that is also true. Like we still get to have quality time with the people we love. We still get ABC. And let me know if the part softens. Okay, how is it feeling down in there? Like, how is it feeling in your heart? In what you wrote down, like I feel because, like we write it down so we can come back to it and be like, oh wow, it's gone down a lot, or I feel like what's more true is this now. Just check what you wrote, where you are, if the fear went down, if the guilt went down, or the fear, yeah. Oh, Deborah went down to a 1 out of 10. And notice what's more true now. What are the new beliefs that are just evident? Like, duh. Take your time. Okay, guilt went down quite a bit. Yeah. And the reason it can all go down quite a bit quickly, ladies, is because they aren't actually real. Like, of course, your feelings are valid and real in the moment, but it isn't your ultimate truth with a capital T. Like, you are loved by God and you are an infinite being of the light. That's never going to get deleted. Like, no matter what I do to delete that, it's going to stay innate in you, right? Now, whatever you were believing in that created shame, guilt, and fear wasn't true. So we could delete it like that. Now, if you kept believing it, firming it, and kept it in the back of your mind like a song, like it's a song that you just remember some of the the music of the song, but you don't remember all the lyrics, but it's back there, you know it's back there, still playing. You know, the lyrics that I listened to when I was 10 was like Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston and all the heartbreak stuff. It's probably still playing in the back of my mind, you know? So the beliefs, you guys know, you're all RTT, so you know the subconscious. It's like the beliefs are still there. But when we bring it up to the surface, we unpack it, we look at it, we can then be like, oh, actually, delete, gone, insignificant, irrelevant, this makes no sense, this is what I'm going to choose to believe in, okay? And now that begins your scripting journey, okay? You now start to come up with a bunch of new beliefs that are truthful in your body because you didn't try to put them on top of fear. Like if you guys had tried to come up with affirmations or scripting for your financial situation before we clean this up, it would have felt kind of fake. It would have been like, this doesn't make sense. And even if we muscle tested you, you know, the new belief wouldn't have stuck because this old shame and guilt was still there. Lots of people love to buy from me. Like I can say that and be clean in my energy because it's been true, it has been true, it can continue to be true. But I don't know, a few years back, probably I would have been like, no, like I still feel unworthy and, you know? So, all right. Okay, we're almost done. We're almost done. Let's go behind. So if shame, guilt, fear is down to a 1 out of 10, you can be like, oh, I'm done. Done. None of this resonates. None of this makes any sense. I'm done. Okay. The shortcut to this that I'm going to give you. Okay. The shortcut I'm going to give you is just to go straight to asking a sticky recurring feeling. How old are you? When I can't remember how I came across and discovered this method. It was like changed my life overnight, literally changed my life overnight because I stopped having to feel sticky, recurring, memorized feelings, which Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about that in one of his books called Quit the Habit of Being Yourself, which is like we've memorized emotions and ways of being, like we've memorized habits, but we've memorized emotions. So if you come from a background of trauma and helplessness, or like, oh, guilt, shame, fear, if it's familiar, you'll just be like, oh, I survived this in the past. I'm still alive. It's familiar. Your mind is looking for evidence of what it already knows from the past to copy paste into your future, you know? So we want to interrupt that and make it safe and familiar to be at the higher frequency of love and abundance and overflow. And, you know, last year, I was hanging out with these new friends. It was this incredible group of friends. They were a bit older than me, but we would go out, dance parties, dinner parties, Christmas parties, all of these parties, like very fun, positive, jovial people. And I was like, oh, this is just like when my mom was still alive. Like, I feel like I finally really belong in a group of friends. I was dating somebody in the group, and I felt incredible worth from being in that group of friends. Yeah. But of course, my subconscious was like, let's go back to what's familiar. So now I worked on it, now I know it's there, but sometimes we don't know what's there until we get smacked in the face with the block. So it's okay. Whenever you have a block, whenever you have like a trigger, just be like, ooh, interesting. My subconscious mind is trying to help me go back to what's familiar, but name it. I hope that what you get from today is that if you can name it, you can heal it. If you can go, oh, I feel because just like when it's not safe for me to belong in a group of friends, or it's not safe for me to have a bunch of clients because, okay? All right, so I'm going to walk you through this last exercise, but before I do that, also remember this. It's not that you can't have it, but a part inside you doesn't want you to have it. So it's not that you can't, but that you won't. If every time you're bummed about not manifesting something and you turn that around from it's not that I can't, but I won't, who won't? And go find that part, examine the part, unpack the part, and then you can really win after that. I used to get fatigue, and feeling tired was one of my sabotage. Whenever I was like successful, I would get super tired, okay, for no reason. Like, I was eating healthy, I was going to bed, like there was no reason. It was just sudden, okay? And when I unpacked why I didn't want to have more energy, the part said, well, because if you have more energy, you're going to keep becoming more and more successful, So I made the promises and turned that around. So just so you know, it's not that you can't, but that you won't. Who won't? Find out what's going on, unpack it, make promises, script a whole new belief, okay? So Deborah, I will have lots of people signing up to work with me. So you want to rewrite that, and you want to keep cleaning up on that, okay? Because it's a big deal for you. You kind of are under earning. Scripting is always in the present tense, because it's telling your mind it's already happening. Scripting is, I go on the most amazing vacation. I love the view from the hotel. I get the best upgrades. The flight goes really well. It's in the present moment. I love where I'm living. My apartment is so good. I work with and for people I really like. I earn a great income. More and more people love working with me. It's got to come from the heart, okay? And it's got to be in the present tense, because otherwise you're keeping it in the future. It's safe and familiar to have more and more people want to work with me. It's safe and familiar to have to sell another package now. Deborah, keep cleaning up on selling one package, another one, and another one. What is the feeling of the woman who bought the package? Close your eyes, be like, wow, she said yes. What did it feel like to get the money? Yeah. And just go for another one. Be like, I allow myself to sell another painful package this week with these. Ping pong on that. Keep cleaning up, approval, control, safety on that. And watch, someone's just going to come in. Somebody's just going to come in. Okay. So there are more layers to this magic that we do. It's ping ponging, it's calling things in, it's really aligning our energy. But today was hopefully a really important foundation for what's coming in the next 2 days. If you are watching the replay, really do this to sit down and clean up your fear. If you were to take action and hustle and be like, let me go and like hustle and work 12 hours, 18 hours just so I can avoid feeling fear around money, you would end up feeling more fear, more chaos, more drama, Slowing down, feeling your feeling, releasing the old thoughts, coming up with the better ones is going to take you much further, faster than if you're trying to badass your way through this from that frequency, okay? From that energy. Okay, so think super quick. I'll just tell you this. So if you have a sticky recurring feeling, whether it's depression, anxiety, fear, you're like, oh no, here it is again. You do want to embrace it like a warm blanket, a coat. You do want to let it come in. And you just want to ask this one question. How old are you right now? To the feeling. And you just wait to hear an answer. You're going to hear it in an instant. Okay. I've done this with 65-year-old men or like 12-year-olds. Everybody can answer me. Okay. Everybody knows it's like you ask the question, you become a blank canvas, you'll hear an age. And then you go down, 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 down the slide until you land in a scene where that little girl, that is you, is. Don't try to remember the scene. Don't try to think where was I when I was 12. Just be a complete neutral witness of what's happening in the scene as an adult watching the scene unfold. When you land in the scene, you're going to see stuff, get stuff, but you're going to want to protect the little girl as quickly as possible. So you freeze everybody in the scene except for her. You hit pause. Everybody pauses in the scene except for her. You show up in the scene, go, hey, are you okay? I've come in to help you. She could be 5 in school getting yelled at by the teacher or whatever. You now have completely changed the scene in your mind because now you've come into the scene as an adult and you care and you're loving and you say, what happened? You listen to her. This is really important. You listen to her and you 100% validate her. Everybody messes this up. They go, oh, it's okay. It's okay. No, don't tell her it's okay because in this moment, she's not okay. She's not okay, right? She's like, no one loves me. Nobody wants to be with me. I don't know enough. I'll never know enough. Okay, this is a big one for one of my clients who just had 2 5-figure months this year, which I'm so happy for her. But she used to have a belief that the teacher, because the teacher shamed her when she was 5, I think she was 5, she was little. She shamed her that she didn't know enough. She's had this belief she doesn't know enough as an adult in her 60s. I think she's, no, 50s. Sorry. I don't actually know how old you are, my beautiful friend. I think I'm going to have to look at it. Ask you how old you actually are, but you look like you're 54. So I don't know. But anyway, it's been there a long time. If you're 54 and you have trauma from when you were 5, that's 50 years of carrying the belief, I don't know enough, right? And you would have to now ask the little girl what's going on. I'm here for you, and validate. Okay, so ask the recurring sticky feeling, how old are you? Wait to hear the age. Go down to find where you were, who you were with, and what was going on. Freeze everybody up. Reassure, listen, validate. Oh, really? You don't think you know enough? Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more. Oh, and then what happened? Tell me more. And then what happened? Tell me more. Okay. And then at some point you get to a point where you're like, I promise you that if me trying to do this business means that, then I won't do it. I'm only going to do it as long as you do whatever she told you. This literally is an exercise that if you practice it, you will not be where you are a year from now. Okay. You will be in a completely different place. You make a promise, you empower her, and then you let her go do whatever she wants to do, but she gets to be reassured and loved by you that you're her mom, you're her older sister now, you're going to watch out for her, and you're always going to love her. All right. I really recommend you do this inner child exercise before you go give a talk, before you go on social media. Whenever you feel that angst, that fear, you just go, well, how old are you? What's going on? Okay, I gave a talk at a women's conference a few years back, and I did this in the car. She was like, I'm so afraid of what people are going to think. And I ended up having an incredible talk. It's even up on my website at alixktracy.com. You guys can watch it. It's 30 minutes. We go a little bit more into approval, control, safety. And you'll see I feel totally at home on stage giving a talk because I did this work that I'm showing you guys here. All right, ladies, I know this was a lot. I hope it made sense. The number one tip for today, the one thing is shame. Am I in shame? It's going to block sales. Am I in fear? It's going to block sales. Am I in guilt? Am I in unworthiness? Just unpack it with I feel because approval, control, safety. All right. I'm going to link up below where you can actually get the download for this for free. and get the 3 audios so that you get to keep practicing this at home. You'll see in Dr. Joe Dispenza's book, he has a meditation at the end if it's an audiobook, and he asks you to invite the divine in when you feel a sticky recurring feeling, to take it up, to release it, to clean it. So it's a little bit similar. All right, it's been 90 minutes. I always go for 90 minutes. Thank you so much, ladies, for hanging out. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be at a different place. I might be at a friend's house tomorrow for the call. And we'll talk more about the other 2 pillars besides the one we did today. Today was really about emotional intelligence and the magic. So the magic is you feel your feelings through to completion, you change your mind, and you start scripting in the present tense. All right, put it into practice today and tomorrow so that if you have any questions tomorrow, we can troubleshoot. Thank you so much. Blessings, light. Yeah, I'm just pouring a lot of light throughout the call, throughout the video, and asking angels to be with you. May you move forward from this point on. May you feel solid, capable, confident, loved, approved of, and enough. And so it is. Thank you, ladies. See you later.